Hello and welcome to CNN News 18. In the midst of the terror attack that's happening in Israel, we have a very important person who's joining us on the show. I have with me Kobbi Shoshani, who's the Consul General of Midwest India, Consul General of Israel. Thank you, Kobbi Shoshani, for speaking to CNN News 18. It's a terrible day today. What is the situation on ground at present?
Thank you, Vinaya. Yes, it's a really very sad day. Since 6:30 in the morning, Israel is at war, which means that the Hamas organization declared war against the state of Israel with a comprehensive attack against civilians and military, kidnapped Israeli soldiers and civilians into the Gaza Strip, killed innocent people, among them a friend of my daughter, that she was in a party not far away from there, including launching of missiles towards the main cities of Israel all over. And we are at war. Right now, we have around 200 deaths and more than 1,000 injuries, but the number is going to grow up very, very soon. It's a very sad day in Israel, but the retaliation will be like a war.
Hamas has also taken over some areas. If you could give us a lowdown about that and whether it is an all out war now.
Right now, according to the reports that I have in my hand, there is still fighting inside several events in two kibbutzes. Kibbutzes, it's villages, Israeli villages, and in two cities, not far away from the border. It's very, very difficult right now. It's starting to become dark in Israel. The night has come. And we are negotiating right now with the people who kidnap families, sometimes elderly people, in order to find out the way to deal with this incident. It's not an easy task to deal with terrorists that running up in the streets and catching Israeli citizens. It's a very difficult maneuvering of the army. The special units are there in large numbers, and I assume that it will take time, but the first task is to finish everything right now, to clear the area, the Israeli area, from terrorists and people that came to kill Jewish people.
So you're saying it's an all-out war now?
It's a war because it's the Prime Minister Netanyahu declared that it's a war, and it's a war. It's a legal statute. And right now, but the first thing, we have to clear the area that was captured. And there is some fights there, which is very, very intensive. And I have to tell you, because I saw it in the television as well, very dramatic fights. Some of them by civilians, some of them by the special forces. It's really big drama.
Well, Kobbi Shoshani, India has already said that it supports Israel, and the Prime Minister has also tweeted to that effect. What is the situation of Indians in Israel now?
First of all, I would like to comment about your first part. The message, the clear message that Prime Minister Modi ji gave in this sense was very warm our hearts. I have to tell it in a very frank way. I also retweeted and quoted, and I get a very good reactions. I get more than thousands of messages in WhatsApp, in the social medias, all our and telephone calls from friends that supporting the state of Israel. This is something that makes us very, very proud in our relations with India. And this is something which is very, very important. Right now, the situation in Israel is not clear. Right now, most of the civilians requested to stay at home until everything will be clear, especially in the south, but also in the center of Israel. Some rockets has been sent to Tel Aviv and the center of Israel an hour ago. It was some casualties. Then we are in a war, as I mentioned before.
Well, yes, I would also like to ask you with respect to Jerusalem. The Taliban has said that it has announced that Jerusalem's conquer is this is going to escalate things. Now, how do you look at those comments, and how do you think that it will lead to an escalation?
I think that the line between the good people and the good states and the radical and the extremists and the terrorists in the other side is very, very clear. Doesn't matter what they think. To kill young girls, to kidnap 3 years girl into Gaza Strip is not only a war crime. This is a brutal and not accepted by any words that I can say. They are not human beings. Then I don't care about any explanation. This is something that human being cannot be acted. 3 years girl that taken from her bed in one of the Israeli villages in the south part of Israel, along with her mother, to Gaza Strip without any knowledge. This is something that's unacceptable. I don't care right now what is the explanation, what is the reason. Jerusalem was the city of Israel, the capital of Israel, more than 2,000 years. Where have they been before?
No, in fact, terrible images have been coming from Gaza, from Israel, and those images are disturbing for everyone who's seeing them across the world, and there has been widespread condemnation as well.
There is the condemnation and the support that we get from the good countries in the world. Of course, President Biden called Prime Minister Netanyahu several times. And of course, all the European countries, including the leadership of Modi in India, including most of the countries in the world, and I have the list right now because we have a meeting right now with the Minister of Foreign Affairs by Zoom, is extraordinary important for us. And it shows how we cannot stand such an attack, brutal attack against Israeli citizens. Doesn't matter what is the reason. I don't care even to think about the reason. This is not a human being in my point of view, and they will pay the price.
Well, you're saying they'll pay the price. Clearly, we are also hearing, Kobbi Shoshani, that there is power outage in Gaza and that the power has been cut off. Is that true?
It was the decision of the Minister of Energy is to stop the energy. When you start a war, you have to pay a price for that. That's it. That's part of a war. We are at war, and we have to understand that it's a different situation that I don't remember in Israel, maybe since 1973. It's a very severe that people enter to the state of Israel and kidnap and kill innocent people. This is something that we cannot accept. Sovereignty is extremely important, and a war like a war.
Well, Kobbi Shoshani, one last question for you at this time. You know that India has extended full support to Israel, and you've also thanked the Prime Minister for the kind of strong message that he has sent across. How do you see Indo-Israel relations at this time?
Cooperation between the good countries against terrorism is the answer right now. The support of our friends, especially in India and all over the Western world and the United States and the rest of the world, is extremely important. It will be strengthened, and we don't need any military support. What we need right now is a moral support and the guidance and the leadership of your government to be in the right side in a very clear message is extremely important for us.
Well, Kobbi Shoshani, on that note, thank you so much. We know you've been busy throughout the day, getting so many calls, so many requests, and this has been a terrible day for the country. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and for speaking with CNN News 18.
Thank you very much, Vinaya.